This is Mike Rosenberg with Strategy and Sustainability. This is the last segment in session 4, which is on environmental interest groups. And in this segment, I want to talk about the environmental interest groups, but introduce this idea of non-market strategy, which I've mentioned earlier in the session. So if we look at these different groups, and if you remember, there's 4 different types, which I use the words conservationists, activists, localists, and advocates. And through these last few segments, we've talked about the different focuses and how they find their money and what kind of staff they have. And really, if you look at scope, you can really see the difference. So the conservationists are about protecting wild places. The activists want to protect every place from whatever they think are the problems. The localists want to protect some place. And the advocates typically are much more focused on some people, trying to find a way for a community to manage its forest, or try to find a way for people to find common ground about changing the energy mix or whatever the issue is. So I think it's very important as a business is developing its strategy to understand who may be interacting with them and in what way, because of course it's not the same to negotiate with conservationists, to reach out to and try to understand localist concerns, to fight or surrender to activists, or to deal with and involve advocates in a change process. All of this has to do with the social license to operate, because these people, this is where they play. You know, the activists, what they try to do is destroy the credibility of a company, to destroy its legitimacy, and with the threat of losing its legitimacy to get the company to act. That is the playbook of activists. Advocates and conservationists work more in this legitimacy credibility thing, and with those kinds of groups, you can say, we will support you in your efforts to build a factory as long as you build it over there, please. So, and you can work with these guys to some degree. And then localists really are very special, because either you can get them on your side, or they're going to fight you with everything they have, because they're fighting about things which are very important, which is, of course, their home. Now, David Barron is a professor at Stanford, and he, for many years, has been pushing this idea called non-market strategy. What Barron says, you have your business strategy, and if you use Michael Porter's 5 forces or whatever frameworks you want to use to develop your business strategy, this is how you have to deal with the world. However, there's a number of points which often are not covered well by typical business strategy thinking. What are the issues that civil society is worried about? Recycling, climate change, pesticides in the food. What are the issues that people start to talk about, and where are those issues? What are the interests? Environmental interest groups, the media. Who is going to push these issues forward in civil society? What are the institutions, government institutions or non-government institutions, which are built to protect people or to monitor or to control these issues which pop up? And finally, the information that is needed to talk about stuff. And as I've said several times during this course, some of the information needed to understand these environmental issues is very complex. It can be very ambiguous. So the idea of paying attention to non-market strategies is very important. And what Barron says is, of course, you need to connect your business strategy to your non-market strategy, which really is what we're talking about in this entire course, about sustainability and strategy and how those two connect in the business world.